Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamathyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Okay, so we just started the 7th chapter last time with him highlighting the fact that Vedanta will never become a mass thing. Among all the people in the world, only a few will come to Vedanta. It's always like that. Because people's minds are caught up in Artha Kama. Security is precious. Your sense of security, you need to feel safe. So you need a few things to make you feel safe. And you need a few things for enjoyments, Kama, to feel nice about yourself. So that occupies most of our time. Most of our time is caught up in that. And Dharma is a base, so some people will be a little bit religious, etc. Okay. In fact, all over the world, people are religious. It's only the Hindus who hesitate to declare themselves as Hindus. You ask a Christian, are you a Christian? Yeah, I go to the church, this, that. Muslim, of course, no issues. Hindu? Are you Hindu? Well, I'm no spiritual than religious and all the Natakbaji will start. I believe in all religions. And then Arey bolna ha kya na? To put it in typical Rishikesh language, ha kya na bol pera? Why are you putting all this stuff before? So even religious, you may be in a way that is an aspect of dharma. Okay? Ethical values, etc. Most of us are. Some of us, all of us break it once in a way, but most of us are. So dharma artha kama takes our life up. Moksha has to be discerned. That what I'm really after in life is freedom from my sense of limitation, freedom from my existential issues, not just food, clothing, shelter, not just feeling good about myself, not just feeling secure and happy. I want that fulfillment. I want to be that fulfilled being, free from any sense of limitation, etc. That has to be discerned. That's really what I am after in life. In and through every desire, what I am trying to fulfill is this. Only when you discern that will you come for moksha. Yeah, sometimes you'll walk into a class or a talk or something out of curiosity. In fact, most of us started like that, which is fine. But as part of that talk or understanding, we will start discerning the human problem. Okay? So once that is there, then people will come to moksha. So that's always a minority. And that doesn't mean that you come to Vedanta means what you can get it in this lifetime itself. You don't have to postpone it, okay? Yeah, right here, this lifetime, you can gain the moksha that you need, okay. Then he had said he will also reveal his nature, etc. All that he had said, jnana vijnanam, okay, how to validate that. So really speaking, he starts by talking about Ishvara. Modern students of Vedanta have this issue. Ishvara is one step lower, Brahman is higher. So I am after Brahman. There is no real difference. Okay. Ishvara is the universal form. Brahman is the content of the universal. Ishvara is the aggregate of the whole universe, and Brahman is the consciousness which is the truth of that. So there is no real difference between Nirgunam, Sagunam, Brahman, Ishvara, etc. There is no real difference. Okay. And Ishvara is something that you relate to. Brahman is something you recognize cognitively as yourself. This also is important. Okay? What you relate to when you are functioning. when you are living a life of karma yoga, living a life of dharma, all that is Ishvara. What you recognize as non-different from you is Brahman, the consciousness. They are not two separate things. So Brahman manifest in all the names and forms is Ishvara. As the content of the names and forms, it is Brahman. So the two names are only to point out two standpoints. They are not two entities. Okay. So sometimes words like param, aparam, etc. is used. Okay. So aparam meaning what you see, what you deal with. Param is what which is absolute, which you don't see but you have to recognize as yourself. So it is in this context it's used, but very often in books it's translated as higher and lower forms, etc. It is not higher and lower. Yeah. This understanding is important. Okay. Why is it necessary? Ishvara is necessary for quite a few reasons. One, of course, very obvious. Without Ishvara, there is no bhakti. Without bhakti, there is no karma yoga. Bhakti in the sense of recognition that everything is Ishvara and therefore an emotional response coming out of that knowledge. Remember, for every thought, there is an emotional response. Or at least for an idea, there has to be an emotional response. You look at something. You meet somebody at a dinner. Thinking, hey, he's a nice guy, yeah? Friendly, cheerful, nice guy. Your emotional response is what? One of friendliness. God, what an egoistic character, yeah. What is your emotional response? I have nothing to do. Okay. So there is always an emotional response to a thought. Okay. Sometimes the emotional response is mild. Sometimes it is quite vivid. Okay. But there is always a thinking behind it. So here also, if you understand Ishvara, the emotional response is bhakti. Now when we use the word bhakti, people always imagine a lot of stuff. In North, for example, North India, bhakti is mainly bhajan singing and things like that. Some puja, bhajans, tirtha yatras. South, it is more of pujas, homas, etc. Generally, okay, two categories. But bhakti can be in anything. This is because of all the kathakars. You know, people who come and tell you the story of Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Ram Leela, all that. Where bhakti is presented like that. Like in Krishna, who is the greatest bhakta? Oh, the gopis of Vrindavan. Not in my thinking. That is a very easy job. Have fun with Krishna. Who doesn't like to have fun? All the Ras Leela and the dance, maza kar raha hai, acha hai. And what about Krishna's soldiers? They didn't have bhakti. Where he leads, we will follow. We put our lives on the line. We are not having fun, we are putting our lives on the line. That's also bhakti, isn't it? Tougher bhakti. Yeah. Tougher bhakti. Yeah. So bhakti can be an action. Seva is bhakti. Yeah. Doing acts. What is the use of love if it does not express in an action? I said this before. Husband and wife both working. come back from work. Wife quickly goes into the kitchen and start cutting vegetables for making dinner. Stereotyping? Yeah, I'm talking stereotypes for better understanding. The husband follows him. I love you, sweetheart. It's sweet. She's busy cutting the vegetables, okay? Aren't those pieces a bit big? Oh yeah, no, chop. But I love you. Then she's washing the rice, dal, and I love you, sweetheart. She'll get irritated with that. I love you. Go do something, na. Cut the vegetable, lay the table, something do. That I love you is useless. Yeah. What is necessary here is some action. Help her. Give her a helping hand. Or go load the washing machine, do the laundry. Something. Let her do what she has to do in peace and get it ready fast. You do something else to take care of the house. Talk is cheap. Remember that old movie, Our Time? My Fair Lady. Don't tell me that you love me, show me. Yeah. So, seva is love and action is bhakti. That's what seva is bhakti. Yeah. So, there are various responses. That emotional connect that you have is bhakti. You can do all the puja part, etc. Bhajan, singing, puja. If there is no emotional connect, there is no bhakti. The puja becomes mechanical. It becomes something that you are doing, that's all. Bhajan becomes a nice performance. There is no bhakti. Performance is there, technically perfect also. Where is the emotion? Where is the bhava gone? So bhakti can express in music, it can express in bhajans, it can express in dance, it can express in action. Seva, special seva. Day-to-day life, 24/7, the sadhana for a student of Vedanta is karma yoga. Ishwararpanam with respect to every action of mind, prasada, buddhi with respect to every result. Your sadhana is 24/7. And if you can do this, you don't need any other sadhana. That requires bhakti. That requires understanding of what Ishvara is. Therefore, in the next 6 chapters, there will be a lot of descriptions of Ishvara. If you are looking at the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, Tat stands for Ishvara, Tvam stands for you, Asi for an equation identifying Ishvara with yourself. First 6 chapters of the Gita deal with Tvam Pada. The truth is dealt predominantly from the standpoint of the I. Ishvara is brought in, 2nd chapter, etc. it comes in. But predominantly from the standpoint of I, Tvam, you. Next 6 chapters, the same truth is dealt with predominantly from the standpoint of Ishvara. And the next 6 chapters, the last 6 chapters, are dealt with Asi, what will help you make this understanding better. Therefore, that is how the whole Gita. I am not going to explain Tattvamasi now, that's a Mahavakya, okay? That will require its own this thing. Yeah.
No, Swamiji, just a brief explanation that you gave, if you could please repeat that.
Okay, Tattvamasi is you are equated with Ishvara. You, the individual, is equated with Ishvara. But you, the individual, cannot be Ishvara. Ishvara sarvajnaha, sarvavyapi, etc. Therefore, we don't go for the direct meaning, we go for the implied meaning. Where we will say, Tvam resolves into consciousness, Tat, Ishvara also resolves in consciousness, and therefore what is there is only one consciousness. This in a nutshell. In a nutshell meaning nutshell, it's okay, is the meaning of Tattvamasi. You'll find
Asi in this
Asi
context
is
would mean
a verb of being. Asi is a verb of being. You are Ishvara. If you want more details of it, on my YouTube channel, there are series of lectures called Mahavakya Vichara. You'll find that. Some 6-7 hours of video are available. 6-7 videos are available called Mahavakya Vichara. Very simple form, I will explain that. Okay. But it is technical. So if you don't understand that for the time being, leave that. We'll come to it in the Gita also later. Okay. So that is where the thing is. So therefore here, in the next verse, he starts with Ishvara. What is Ishvara? Okay, here. Bhumirapo analo vayuhu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankar iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtada. My prakriti, my form. Ashtada prakriti. You want to worship Ishvara? Here is a form. Relate to Ishvara. What is that? Bhumi, the earth. Apaha, water. Analaha, fire. Vayu, air. Kam, Akasha. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi. The 5 so-called elements. Okay. Elements for want of a better word. Okay. What would you prefer to use? 5 Panchabhutas. Okay. Not in English elements, closest. They are not the scientific elements we are talking about. Okay. Yeah. So for these 5 plus Manaha, your mind, cosmic mind. Buddhihi, individual intellect, knowledge, total knowledge. Okay. Ahankaram, the sense of I. Ityevam me bhinna prakriti rashtada. This is my eightfold form. You always say Ishvara is totality, na? What is left out? If you are looking at the physical creation, the Panchabhutas cover the whole thing. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi covers the physical and the subtle creation, other dimensions, everything. Then you are subtle in terms of your mind, etc. If your mind exists, cosmic mind has to exist. Your knowledge exists, cosmic knowledge has to exist. Your sense of I exists, Ishvara's sense of I exists. Only thing is not Ahankara and Ishvara, just an understanding of I. For me, it becomes an ego because of ignorance. Eightfold form. What is left out? Nothing is left out. Because even animals have a rudimentary ego, isn't it? In fact, some of your pets have more sophisticated egos than the same animal in the wild. You have a pet dog. A pet dog is jealous sometimes, isn't it? You'll find a pet dog jealous. You won't find a wild dog jealous. Jealousy is learned from human beings. Picked up. Satsang ki effect. A wild dog in the jungle is not jealous. It can get angry. It has a sense of proprietorship. All that thing is fine. But jealousy, that's human. Yeah. So, and sense of I is also there. Even a rudimentary life form has that sense of I. I am this, that is my food. Even an amoeba has it. Single cell organism. This is me, that is food. I have to engulf the food and make it me. So that much ahankara is there. What about inert things? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi. 5 Panchamahabhutas. Whole creation is covered. Therefore, I am manifest in the whole creation. This is Ishvara's form. I can't go to a temple and relate to the form, no? You want to relate to the cosmic form? Here it is. Relate to this. Here is the cosmic form. That's why people feel very nice when you are there with nature, etc. Because some of that cosmic thing is coming into them. When you see the vast expanse of the ocean or the vast expanse of the sky from a hilltop, wow, okay. So, all this, he says, this is my form, this is Ishvara, my eightfold form. Therefore, you are included into the eightfold form, isn't it? Your body in Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi, in his body. Your emotions, etc., in his emotions. Your knowledge, etc., in his knowledge. Where are you? We don't say there is one God, we say there is only God. There is only Ishvara, where are you? Where is anything? Where is the world? Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, Prithvi. That's what the world is made up of. No? Ishvara. So where is you? You don't exist. Separate from Ishvara. You are included. All that you deal with is only Ishvara. So the emotional response will be what? What will be the emotional connect here? One of acceptance, harmony, peace. Bhakti. Most people can't connect to this. Take some understanding. Take some work here, cognitively, to understand this. This idea is blown up in the 11th chapter as Vishwarupa Darshana, where Krishna reveals the cosmic form to Arjuna. So it's blown up there in detail. But this is it. If you can relate to this, great. If you can relate to Ishvara in this form, you don't have to walk into a temple, you don't have to do a puja, nothing. Fine? That means what? Everything is sacred. What is not sacred now? Including the idiot next door I can't stand. Including the guys I get irritated with. They're all Ishvara. Yeah, I can. Now, I have to deal with them in the functional manner necessary. That's a different thing. But can I recognize that they are not different from Ishvara? They are sacred. There is a sacredness about it. There is a sacredness in that criminal. The distortion is in his mind. Can you set him right? Sometimes. Sometimes, no. You have to give him another lifetime chance. So string him up. Hang him. Of course, through proper legal process, etc. Okay. Are you getting what I am trying to say? So the sacredness, the sense of holiness that you have in your life, the prayerfulness that you will have in your life, that is bhakti. Though you may not do. Okay. You may not have all the vibhuti on your forehead. Swamiji, you also never put it. I put it after my puja, but it doesn't last. The Lord has given me a forehead that anything I put in half an hour, it goes away. Yeah, it's a sign of devotion. What devotion? Hey, this body is a temple of the Lord. So put that. Chandan, Vibhuti, Kumkum, whatever. Bindi. In India there is a movement. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. No bindi, no business. One of my friends, Shaifale Vidya, started that. Yeah, no bindi, no business. Says, why are you commercializing our festivals and making it secular? Diwali is a Hindu festival. Let that Hindutvam come through it. Yeah, showing models without bindi, no, put a bindi there. It's a religious festival, Hindu festival. No bindi, no business. You don't get my business. They all started changing their advertising strategy and putting bindis. Sometimes artificially adding on. That's okay, it doesn't matter. So it is just a cultural, culture is an act of bhakti. That, hey, this body is a temple of the Lord. This body is the Lord. Okay. Worship. Worshipful attitude. So you are a devotee 24/7, isn't it? Because you have this connect with Ishvara. You may not be goody, you may not be holy, better not be. Why? Because all of us have a dark side. And you better be comfortable with your dark side. Yeah. Your dark side is your strength. I had done a workshop on this some time back. Maybe I should do it again in some camp. You're getting in touch with your dark side and integrating that into you. So it doesn't hijack you. You can use it when necessary. Because that's your strength. There's a rajas in you. There's a tamas in you. Which is beautiful. Its paradigms differ. Shadow self, etc. is a Western paradigm. Rajas tamas is the Indian paradigm. But that's okay. It's the same thing. Because remember, its consciousness manifests through Maya Shakti. Maya Shakti itself is called Chaya. Devi, one of the names of Devi is Chaya. She's called Chaya when you pray to her. Yeah, consciousness manifests in Maya Shakti. Chaya, the shadow. Chaya means shadow. The yin and yang in Chinese, Tibetan philosophy. Same thing. So, you are not being holy, goody. You don't have to be. You have to be dharmic. That's fine. Bhakti makes you strong, not weak. Not weak. If bhakti doesn't give you strength, what is the use of that bhakti? Oh, come on, Lord is with you. What are you scared of? How come strength is not there in you? Hey, Lord is with you. God and I are getting things done. What are you talking about? Huh? So, can you relate to Ishvara like this is a question? The masses cannot. Therefore, one aspect of this Ishvara is invoked in various forms. Every form is an aspect of this Ishvara alone. But in an aspect, how will there be understanding? So there are stories. Some of them are historical, some of them may be created. Most of them have some historical base. Like with Rama, Krishna, etc. These are itihasas. These are historical books. They are not stories. Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. are historical. The historical novels. They were always being, once the British came into India, they started presenting it as mythology. So it can be dismissed. Especially the padris who wanted to convert. So this is mythology, these are all stories. They are not mythology, they are history. We have found Dwarka under the sea, exactly where it was described to be. Bet Dwarka. And now they are going to start underwater tourism. Going in a mini submarine right down to see the whole thing. You don't need to go in a submarine. You can do scuba diving also there. Scuba diving at oxygen tanks. You can go and explore. When they start allowing that, I will go. It will be good to see. To surround the palaces where Krishna lived. So now you create, now all these stories are available. So there is an emotional connect now. But human psyche is different. What you get attracted to, I may not get attracted to. Many people get attracted to Balakrishna. Oh my God, you are so cute, you are so nice. Give me the adult, give me the warrior Krishna. That's what I can relate to, Baba. My psyche is that. Krishna who established empires, uprooted empires. Give me that figure. Yeah. That is what I can relate. So you have huge amount of representations of one Ishvara in 100 million different forms. Take it. What you can. Hey, I want a mother figure. What, are you mama's boy? No, I'm not a mama's boy, but I want a mother figure. What do you want? Amazonian, Durga, Kali, etc. Gentle, loving, kind, etc. Lalita, Lakshmi, etc. Learning, for me, learning is very important. Saraswati. महाराज जी खाना नहीं मिलता बराबर, क्या करूँ? अन्नपूर्णा. Yeah. Annapurna is a form that was there in the Vedic times onwards. But Shankara made it popular. Why? Can you imagine in the city of Banaras, Shankara did not get Bhiksha? Someone so well known as Shankara in his lifetime did not get Bhiksha. In Banaras on top of everything else. Kashi. It happens in all our lives. There are times when you don't get Bhiksha. When you are living on Bhiksha, there will be days you don't get Bhiksha. That day is Ekadashi for you. Don't eat. Fast. So when Shankara didn't get Bhiksha, what did he do? He walked into the Devi temple there. Annapurne Sadapurne. Composed Annapurna Ashtakam. Beautiful. So how do you relate what is in your psyche? What is in your psyche? And the form you worship will influence your psyche as well. Both will come. Both will come. Yeah. Start worshipping Hanumanji, Anjaneya, Vanaraha. You will start having more seva bhava in you. More strength, power, wisdom. Because this is what he stood for. So what you worship will be like that. Million forms given. Why? Because people are different. Where is your emotional connect? How are you invoking that? Until your understanding becomes more refined, until you can relate to Ishvara, the cosmic form. Years ago, I think some of you were there. You know, the yoga festival in UK, I did this. Stages of understanding Ishvara. How you understand Ishvara at various stages, depending upon your psychological maturity. So, you expand your understanding of Ishvara, your psychological maturity grows. Until you understand this, Ishvara is a cosmic form. Then maturity is natural. It requires a mature mind to understand this also. Both ways it works. Okay. Then he says, okay, this is something that you can see and relate with, but my true nature is different. Look at it. It says, Apreyam svanya prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho ye yedam dharayate jagam. Apreyam. This prakriti is not my absolute prakriti. It's not absolute. It's a functional aspect of it. Apareya. Anya prakriti me vidhi me param. My absolute prakriti is something different. That is not meant for relating, that is meant for understanding as yourself, cognitive. What is that? He says, Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho. That prakriti has manifested as you, the I, Jiva. That prakriti, that absolute prakriti, has manifested as the I, the consciousness, Yedam Dharyate Jagat, by which the entire cosmos is upheld. The truth behind the whole cosmos is what? Existence awareness. Existence consciousness is the reality behind the whole thing. Why two words are used? Just to indicate sentient and insentient aspects. Like, what is this? It's a book. Book. I want to know the truth of the book. So what is the truth of the book? Without papers, is there a book? So the truth of the book is papers. No? Paper in this form is called a book. If it is not bound together and as putting it into a file, what will be called? It's just a sheaf of papers in a file. It is trying, everything tries to go back to its original state. So same thing with this book also. Trying to go back to its original state of being only papers. Yeah, Shan, you have a question? Unmute, you're muted. Yeah.
Swamiji, only one thing. If consciousness, how can it be manifest first? I mean, you just said.
I will explain that.
Yeah.
Manifested means an appearance. Something can appear as something else. Like, let us see what is happening here. Okay, look at this. This is a book. Truth of the book is nothing but paper. Is paper the absolute reality? No. It is wood pulp. Wood pulp? It is a tree. Tree? Hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons made up of molecules. Molecules absolute? No, made up of atoms. Atoms are absolute? No, they are subatomic particles. Nanoparticles, microparticles, go on. What is the final truth? Final truth? Something that exists. You can't say nothing. Because remember, we are talking about the book. You can't say nothing is there. If this is a physical class and someone says nothing, I'll give him a whack with this book, then he'll understand how something it is. Not nothing. As I picked up a study book, this is good enough to whack somebody and knock him down also. Okay. How do you think it became in this condition? Okay. Example, okay. I am not in the habit of whacking my students or anyone else for that matter. Not in the habit of. Only when necessary. So, it's not nothing, it is something. But if it has a form, I will resolve it into its content. Like how paper became wood pulp, became molecules, atoms, particles. You will go on resolving. So the final thing has to be what? Something that exists without a form. Formless existence is the reality behind this book. So now you have formless existence here. Now this is an inert thing. Now let's go into a live thing. Me. What are you? This body. The body, hydrocarbons, etc. It gets resolved into formless existence. Then, what is inside? What is inside? It has got different names. Prana, mind, buddhi, etc. etc. It will resolve into what? Who am I? Remember the old question we asked in second chapter onwards? Who am I? I am not the body, not the mind. All these are object of my awareness. So I, the conscious being, will resolve into consciousness. which is aware of time, space, everything. Therefore, now we have one limitless existence and one limitless consciousness. Can there be two limitless things? Therefore, what exists is nothing but consciousness. Existence and consciousness is one and the same. From the standpoint of inert things, we are calling it existence. From the standpoint of sentient being, we are calling it consciousness. So sentient, conscious, sentient, insentient, etc. are appearances of one consciousness. And this consciousness being limitless cannot change. So has the consciousness changed to become all this? No. That's why we are saying manifested it. Appearance. Like millions of waves appearing in the ocean. Appearing. Manifestation. As they separate from the ocean? No. Have they changed to become something? No. Without changing, without this, the water remains water. What is the change? Form, for which you give it a name. Form doesn't exist without content. No form can exist without content. Therefore, he says, my absolute nature is that which has manifested as I, which sustains the whole universe. So, you, the consciousness, sustains the whole universe. Ishvara as consciousness sustains the universe. This is for understanding. So, I understand this as myself. Eightfold form is for relating. Can you see the difference now? Eightfold form, the cosmic form of Ishvara, is the highest that you can relate to. Maximum you can relate to. Because when you say relate, there is necessary for a form name, isn't it? Swamiji, how do I relate to the formless? You don't relate to the formless, you recognize it as I. Swamiji, but there should be some way of relating to the formless. That means you have not understood formless, you are taking it as shapeless. Because you studied in school, amoeba is formless. Amoeba does not have a particular form, it has got a shape. Then why are you drawing the amoeba like that all the time? Some squiggly figure. Because it has a shape, it has a boundary. Formless means no boundaries, it is boundaryless. So to relate, you need some sort of form. It can include you, that's okay, but some sort of thing you need. That's what Ishvara. But Ishvara is also a matter for understanding. How do you relate to someone without understanding? If you are relating to something without understanding, is only a projection. That's what happens when you fall in love all the time, half the time. You're projecting all these things on the other person.
But Swamiji, ultimately the detachment to the form has to happen.
Exactly. It is that being caught up in the form. Thinking the form is real. That is the problem. The form is just a form. Reality, you have to understand the reality. Form is what you relate, understanding the reality. And when you understand the reality, not different from you.
Then Brahman is the Nirgun part of the
Yeah.
Ishvara.
So the Nirguna, what do you say Nirguna, without any qualities, without any name and form. That is the consciousness, me. So there the relating is in the form of oneness. Ishvara and I are non-different. There is a oneness there. Not part and whole. Part and whole can be there in the eightfold form. It is in terms of oneness. Ishvara and I are non-different. Therefore, what is the emotional content there? Anandoham. Fulfillment, joy, ananda. Why? Total peace. Total peace. Samji, Arjuna is going to fight a war. Yeah, fighting a war also he can be in total peace. Why? The mind is active and things like that. Body, mind is active. I am the consciousness. Consciousness is complete harmony with everything. That's why he had said in the second chapter, Apuryamanam, Achala Pratishnam, etc. All the description of a wise person. that harmony, in spite of mind, body, etc. being active. Which is what Christ called as the peace that passeth all understanding. There's an expression there in the Bible. Peace that passeth all understanding. It's not beyond understanding, it's beyond experience maybe. Yeah. We understand it well. There's a peace of myself, my own soul. Now look at it. Saguna Brahman or Ishvara with the form, what you relate. Karma Yoga, etc. is possible. Bhakti is there. But there also understanding has to be there. Ishvara is not something to be believed in. Ishvara is something to be understood. Belief is only a starting point. Okay? When you are totally ignorant and you want to start, some stories are told to you. So you start with belief. That is rudimentary. But there is rudimentary understanding. Why? You are told some stories. Ishvara is like this, like this, like this. Okay. Yeah. And some of it can be controversial, some of it can be contradictory. But that's how you're presenting it. That's okay. That's how it is. That's what you went to relate. There also some rudimentary understanding is there. And what is presented and what you accept will depend upon your psychological maturity. I am a fear-based, insecure individual. God will be what? Harsh, lawgiver, taskmaster, etc. Because I am an insecure individual. I need somebody who is all that strong, powerful, etc. Okay. I'll be his follower, then he will save me. My enemies he will destroy. I will be safe. So you need an understanding like that. Because your psychological maturity is like that. And if that is the Lord you are worshipping, your psychological thing also will be like that. Where if your understanding of God is more refined, your psychological maturity becomes more refined. Highest cosmic form, here you are. Chalo. Whole cosmos. It's meant for a few, only few reach here. So in India, generally what happens, because culturally it is there, people say, yeah, Vishwarupa, Ishvara is there. They will still relate to the small form. Okay. But in none of these, God is a harsh, cruel individual. It's always kind, loving, etc. Because there is some maturity anyway. So what about all the insecure people, etc.? So they are given father figures, mother figures, etc. they can relate to. So that insecurity you can overcome. You need not have a harsh God who will destroy all your enemies. You will have a loving mother figure who can destroy all your enemies. Durga. So that emotional safety and maturity can happen. This is it's a sophisticated, refined culture, okay? Even when you're looking at it culturally. A lot of psychological refinement is there in it, in the whole presentation. And then finally, you have to understand what Ishvara is the one that sustains the world. The existence consciousness, that is the basis for the whole creation. So look at it. It's not presented as two separate things. No? One is presented as for relating. What is the likely personality of someone who does not relate to forms? Conditioned by too much of secular thinking. Overdose of secularism. Culturally not in connect.
Amazing.
Look at backgrounds, it will be true. Culturally not in connect. Brought up divorced from your own culture. Whatever culture it is. It can be here, it can be Western. But divorced from your own culture. That's why you can't relate to forms. If you understand God is everything, I want to understand God is. If you understand God is everything, why can't you understand God as an aspect? What's the problem? No wise person who understood Nirgunam Brahman as pure consciousness ever had a problem of relating to any form. No problems at all. Why? Because they were in harmony. If everything is Ishvara, why can't I relate to forms? You are relating to the body, which is a form. You are relating to the food that you are eating, which is a form. To the water and other things that you may be drinking, which has a form. You are relating to people around you, which have forms. But when it comes to Ishvara, you can't relate to a form. What does that show? You have been divorced from all this culture. You have been brainwashed by an overdose of secularism, which is happening in India all the time. Our whole education system is like that.
Swamiji, but you also just explained that it takes a more evolved and a mature mind to understand.
Ishvara is everything, exactly.
Ishvara is everything. So now what you're saying is, it's to me, it's sounding
no, it is not. Because if do I have that understanding that Ishvara is cosmic form? If I have that understanding, I won't have any problems relating to a form. It may not be my day-to-day thing, but I can always relate to a form. But without having that understanding, if I can't relate to a form, it only means I am divorced from my culture and heritage. Because I am not yet relating to that. Cosmic form, if you are relating to, you will be in harmony with the creation. Are you? You will not say, this is right, this is wrong, I have to fight against them. It's okay. Let people be what they are.
But Swamiji, I will never be able to understand the cosmic nature.
It's very
unless I
come to Vedanta or something.
attach to the form.
Exactly. So
Because
from the
that's
form to the
starting-
formless.
Yeah, that's the starting point.
It's always form to the formless. So that is the problem for many Indians to come to Vedanta also, because they have no relating to the culture. Modern educated Indians have not been relating to the culture. Macaulay's education system, which we all went through. I went through that, I know. Luckily it came through me through other sources, not school and college thing. Other sources it came to us. All of us it came through other sources. So if you could relate to that, yeah, if you are rebelling against that, then you can't relate to either. You can't relate to the formless, you can't relate to the form. Dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. It's an expression for those who are not Indians here. You are like a stray dog. Neither you belong to the home nor you belong to the washerman's ghat. You know, yeah. You are neither here nor there. You're lost in between. This is what happens to a lot of us Indians. So I'm glad when I came across a new trend. It's a new trend. I written its pros and cons in a small article. It will come in the newspaper next month. It is called Bhajan clubbing. Have you all heard of it? Bhajan clubbing. You have not heard of it?
Yeah, I came across it today on YouTube.
Yeah.
There was a news article. There was a news presentation.
Yeah, Bhajan clubbing. Come on here. Sadhus have heard about it. You people in society have not heard about it. Ye kya baat hai? You know what is Bhajan clubbing? People are going to clubs. They are having parties. But it is not rave music or something. They are putting bhajans on. Instead of alcohol, they are having tea and lassi. It's a fad. It's just a fad, nothing more. Okay, we had like that. Though some of us will remember there is a musical called Jesus Christ Superstar. Yeah, it's a big musical production. So this is something like that, or that there is a movie like that, 2-3 movies. The Singing Nuns, Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah. So like that, this is also just a fad. It's not going to last. But at least that rebellion against all this is going. I'm glad to see that. Why do you have to rebel? Understand. It's something that is part of your heritage for so many thousands of years. Understand that. You may not want to go too ritualistic, which is understandable. You may not want to go. But can you, if you can't relate to a form, it's a problem. If you can relate to the cosmic form it will be easy for you to relate to any form. Because everything is manifestation of Ishvara. The cosmic form includes all forms. I may not be ritualistic, which is fine. Bhakti in my heart. Neither ritual nor bhakti, then forget it. If there is neither ritual
Swamiji, I
nor
have a
bhakti.
clarification here. Swamiji, I have a clarification here.
Yeah?
When you are, since we've been, for the last few minutes, we've been seeing forms again and again. Forms we are referring to, form as in it could be, whether it's people, animals, plants, anything in the surroundings could be form, right?
Yeah, but now you are talking of Ishvara. So forms that represent Ishvara.
So
It doesn't matter whether it is Rama, Krishna or a cross.
So, okay.
Yep. I am not limiting it to Hinduism. Yeah. Yeah, Prashant.
Swamiji, even in this relating to Ishvara as Vishwarupa, as the whole cosmic nation, is it possible to directly go there? Because I feel like isn't like the form a good starting point, like Rama Krishna first, and then extending is much more in harmony with normal
With the culture.
people's.
It's harmony with the culture, but you can go directly into the cosmic form if you have a certain level of maturity. If a certain level of maturity is there, and maturity comes from living a life. If some basic maturity is there, then you could go directly.
But a lot of people say that I worship nature, but then they leave behind the intelligence aspect of nature and just look at it as some sort of mechanized functioning of universe, right? Like, so I feel like it's much more.
See,
relatable.
what are the forms meant for? Forms are meant for evoking the sense of bhakti out of you. If you can get it with the cosmic form, no problems. And you can get it. Okay? If you are sufficiently mature, you can get it. Psychological maturity is there, you can. Most people require some form to relate to. Most people, where did Prashant disappear? Oh yeah, there you are. Yeah. No, because my screen keeps changing. Because someone puts a video on, someone puts offset. So, if your maturity is there, then you can relate to the form. Then that bhakti will come in this manner. Yeah. So maturity can come with various way how you live your life. So if I lived my life intelligently, some maturity can come in. Now, for that maturity to come in, some amount of worship, etc., will make it faster. Will make it the maturity faster. Because there is a sense of acceptance in everything. But I could get conditioned by the religious thing and not have that maturity also. If the religion is going to make me judgmental, harsh in my dealings with people, etc., unnecessarily harsh, etc., then it has not helped me. Then I only adopted the orthodoxy of the religion, not the bhakti of the religion. That happens with a lot of people also. It is not that because I have bhakti to a particular form, I am automatically going to become mature. Because if I am relating more to the orthodoxy around it, and many of these systems have orthodoxy, why? Because they are old systems. Any religion is old, no? The youngest religion, the Baha'is, are about 100 years old. Baha'i in the world, okay, it's there in parts of Pakistan, Iran, etc. Youngest religion which is more than 100 years old. So some amount of orthodoxy will creep in into all religious systems. So if you are going to only identify with the orthodoxy and not with the bhakti that it is supposed to be, then I will have all these problems. My maturity is again stunted. Because there is a huge difference being traditional and being orthodox. Traditional is knowledge based. Transdiction. The word itself explains. Transdiction, that which is passed on by word of mouth, which is knowledge. So knowledge is not the issue. Orthodoxy is rules, regulations, etc., which helped once upon a time, but which may not be helping once upon a time. On this time, what it helped once upon a time may not be helping now. Orthodoxy is like a fence. It's a response to a real or imagined threat. Threat is gone, but the thing is continuing. The defense system is continuing. That is an issue. That becomes a problem.
Orthodoxy is probably more dogmatic.
Yeah, because it's comfortable. Na? I remember my cat sutras of meditation. The Mathadipati, the monk, the head monk, and the cat. The cat used to jump on the head monk and disturb his meditation. So he said, please tie up the cat before I come for meditation. The students continued. After some time, the monk had a samadhi. Death, his successor took over. Cat continued to be tied. Cat died, new cat came, the new cat also continued to be tied. So like this, 3 generations of monks and cats continue. By the 4th generation, someone wrote a book called the Cat Sutras of Meditation. The importance of tying a cat before meditation. This is called orthodoxy, okay? There are plenty of cats like this. I made the story after finding it in different places. A lot of these hidden cats are there. Like once I went to the army, I saw, before guns being fired. So before the firing of the guns, the gunner would look at the guy behind and he would give this signal. And then guy would fire. So why is the signal like this? You could have given a thumbs up, you could have waved a flag. But why is this as a signal? My mind couldn't understand the meaning behind this. So nobody knew. Everyone said, this is parampara. This is what we have been listening. Finally I spoke to an old sergeant. He said, Maharajji, previously these are all motorless artillery. So the horses would drag them. So the gunner would look behind to see whether the horses' reins have been held by the guy left behind. So that he fire the horses won't bolt. I am holding the reins. So he said, this is good. It's a good example for my story, Cat Sutras of Meditation. That's how the story came up. Okay. So if you're stuck on orthodoxy, the growth doesn't happen. If you're stuck on the idea, the principles, etc., growth automatically happens. Okay. We have extended the time today. Okay. Good place to stop. More of this, we will go next time. Okay. Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om Swami.